do know that right now we're standing in Soweto at one of the primary schools where the memorial service of the two children who passed away is just about to get underway. Before I get into that, I just want to get more insight from Steve Mabona, the spokesperson for education, who's here, and his department has been quite instrumental in assisting the families of the two boys who lost their lives. Steve, thank you so much for joining me. Today is the memorial service for the two children who lost their lives in this gruesome mutilation. What role is the department playing here, assisting the family and the community as well?
Thanks very much. Since we started when this incident occurred, we had a lot of stakeholders who volunteered their services. From your funeral services, from community members who said they want to assist us as the department. So to a certain extent that everything that is happening from memorial service to the funeral service, we are not paying anything. Stakeholders came, they are doing it pro bono, which is something that is acknowledged. The unity that prevails in this community, it's out of this world. Participation or active participation of patrollers in this community, it's really something that we really need to acknowledge, because
Steve, it's quite loud where we are standing here, and this I think is also testament to what you're saying about the support of the community. We do know that two people have since been arrested for murder on suspicion of having murdered and mutilated the two children. What are your thoughts and insights on that?
Well, we are encouraged by what transpired, that people were arrested. It tells you the unity that I was talking about. Police now, they will then have to continue with their investigation. We'll give them space. But we are encouraged that now probably there's no serial killer that is moving around. Children can, play on the streets without fearing that they might be, kidnapped, things, like that. And we just want to say the patrollers are playing a big role, and that's what we want to see. Active citizenry that is going to be assisting us moving forward. And we are quite encouraged, but shocking that it might be a family member who has been arrested, for this gruesome incident.
There were a lot of rumors last week that the killing of the children could have been a Muti-based issue. What are we hearing so far in terms of that, especially concerningly that it could be linked to a family member?
Well, it was really suspicious that probably it could be that. But now that we are informed that the evidence that led to the arrest is the very same body parts that were taken or stripped off from these children. So we are not sure. Probably the investigation of the police will then lead us somewhere to understand on the motive behind this gruesome murder, which is quite really unfortunate.
Absolutely horrifying details coming out of that. Steve, we have a few more minutes. In terms of keeping the safety of the children in this community going forward, what are we going to do in terms of keeping young children in schools safe? It takes a village, obviously, but from the Department of Education, what further interventions can be done to try and ensure that these kids are kept safe?
No, our safety strategy is quite clear. We work very closely with the Department of Community Safety. They work very closely with all our CPFs. CPFs will then have patrollers where we will then appoint from the CPFs. They will have them in our schools, and also they will then be patrolling in the area. So that's the strategy that we're going to continue with, because it's working. But the patrollers need to be acknowledged for the good work that they are doing. Active citizenry that we have seen, which must be encouraged. And we will encourage parents to always look out for things that are untoward. Let's report to the police. If we report to the police and make sure that the patrollers understand on what is happening, then we know that they will have a swift response. To a certain extent, the arrest was led to by active participation, because one person was given, evidence to go throw away, and the patrollers were called to check, and police were also called. So we really need to acknowledge what the patrollers are doing for us in this community, and we want to call upon all other communities. Let's participate and make sure that we play a significant role in making sure that our communities are safe.
Steve, before I let you go, just tell us a little bit more about today's program, who's expected to speak, and what is the outcome expected today?
Now, MEC is coming here to pay his last respect to both families and the children here. As you can see, the support is overwhelming. We've got stakeholders here. We have over 10 schools that are represented here. So, and the MMC will also be here. So, it's more about celebrating these lives that were lost in this gruesome manner. And just finalize and announce the funeral is on Friday. And we need to bury them, give them a dignified burial, and they must be sent off in a good way.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you very much. Zinga, that's Steve Mabona from the Gauteng Education Department, really giving us a bit more insight into the arrests of the two people, saying that there is possibly a link of family ties with one of the two boys that were killed. But as we continue speaking, the memorial services of Duduzi Zulu and Tiamo Rabanye, both grade 1 and grade 5 learners, here taking place in Soweto, getting underway. Absolutely gruesome, chilling. There's quite a large community support here, and what Steve Mabona is saying is that the community really has rallied behind the families of these boys, and also the third boy that made a miraculous escape. And he's saying that they're hoping to give the police enough space to be able to conduct their investigations, to really get to the bottom of who the true perpetrators of this grisly, horrific crime are. Nzinga, back to you in studio.